Today we are looking at the MateView GT from Huawei. This is Huawei's first foray into gaming monitors, and I have to say, first impressions is the understated look is very welcomed, especially for those looking for a monitor that they can both game on and do some actual work on. But the question is, can it do both? The MateView GT is a 3440 by 1440p ultra-wide curved gaming monitor with some impressive specs. First of all, for gaming, the ultra-wide aspect ratio and the slight but noticeable 1500R curve makes for a super immersive gaming experience. When sitting dead center, your peripheral vision is filled up, really putting yourself into the game. Along with this, it boasts 165 Hz refresh rate. This, alongside AMD FreeSync Premium, makes for an incredibly smooth, high frame rate gaming experience. Now, it doesn't state anywhere on the box or in the manual that it's G-Sync compatible, but I tried it and it seemed to work fine. But it's not advertised anywhere on any of the materials, so your experience might vary. But my unit here, at the very least, worked completely fine out of the box. FreeSync, or in my case, G-Sync compatible G-Sync, is when the refresh rate of the monitor will change depending on the frame rate of the game or the application you're running. So, if your frame rate were to drop below 165 Hz, you might end up with lots of tearing and desync between the frame rate of the game and the refresh time of the pixels on the screen. But with FreeSync or G-Sync, it will change the refresh rate of the monitor to accommodate for that, getting rid of all the tearing issues. It also can improve latency a little bit as the monitor is refreshing at the exact same time as the image is being displayed from the graphics card. Now, they do hide this setting a little bit, which is a bit weird. To actually access the AMD FreeSync setting, you have to hold up on the joystick for what feels like a very long time before it will actually show you the option so you can enable it. Bit weird, not sure why it's hidden, but it's there. Now, it's not all perfect for gaming. To achieve all these amazing high refresh rates and that, they went with a VA panel, meaning the pixel response time isn't the best. Out of the box, this makes everything feel a bit smeary, like there's motion blur applied to everything you do. It does have some included overdrive modes to help combat this, which is better, but it's still not the best. You still are always gonna have a bit of that, and if you crank it all the way, you kind of get a bit of a reverse ghosting effect. Found about level 3 in the overdrive settings. Is the sweet spot. The VA panel also has the downside of not having great viewing angles either. If you're sitting dead center, no problem at all. But if you move a little bit to the left or the right, you will notice some dimming and some changes in the colors of the image. This is especially bad for any professional work you might want to do on it, as you're gonna have to make sure you stayed center to make sure your colors and brightness are accurate. Talking about work, can it do that too? I think so, yeah. With the caveats of the pixel response time and the viewing angles not being that great, the VA panel does offer a brilliant contrast ratio. VA panels inherently have great contrast ratios. Not as good as OLEDs, but still really good. This does support HDR, but this panel itself is only 350 nit, so I wouldn't be doing any HDR color grading, for example. But in a pinch, if you need a bit of HDR or you like having that HDR look in your games, it can do it, but it's not the best HDR experience in the world. But those looking to do photo and video work on this display are in luck, as this monitor actually supports a wide color gamut. They say it supports up to 90% P3 with a delta E of less than 2, and in my testing with my colorimeter, I was able to achieve close to that, so I take their word for it and say it's pretty damn close. To achieve this, the monitor can actually accept a 10-bit color signal, which is great. However, some might find this a little hard to achieve. To get 10-bit color, you have to slightly underclock the screen. Now, it already comes with 165 Hz, so underclocking isn't that bad. It means you can just drop down to 144 Hz, which is still an incredibly smooth and fast refresh rate, still giving you that super silky smooth gaming experience. And for the 3K ultra-wide aspect ratio, other than really high-end machines, you'd be hard to hit that 165 Hz at a full high-quality setting game anyway, so dropping it down to 144 Hz isn't the end of the world, especially if you're used to console gaming at 60 Hz anyway. Now, we know what the panel can do, but what about the other features? Now, as I mentioned at the start, I love the design of the monitor. Its understated look is so refreshing in the world of gaming monitors, as so many other on the market just scream hardcore gaming with RGB everywhere and sharp angles and designs all over them, where the nice matte black finish could suit any kind of office environment, really. The only bit of gaming hint you get is this little RGB accent at the bottom of the monitor in the soundbar. Yes, I did say soundbar. Huawei has integrated this small soundbar into the bottom of the monitor, which I think is a great idea. They say this is because why put some not so good, underwhelming, small little speakers inside the monitor when you can just separate them into a little bar on the stand and get a much better sound experience. Being such a big feature in the marketing for this monitor, my expectations were pretty high, maybe too high when first trying out this monitor. I was expecting like a pretty decent bass and, albeit maybe slightly narrow, being a soundbar at the bottom, pretty decent overall clarity of the sound. But really what it is maybe better than really cheap Bluetooth speakers, but not much better. There's not a lot, if any, bass. It's a bit muddy, a bit tinny, a bit harsh on the ears, especially at the louder levels. But what it is a bit of a subpar Bluetooth speaker kind of experience. It's definitely better than anything you could squeeze inside the monitor itself, but maybe I'd invest in some cheap bookshelf speakers a little down the line. But don't get me wrong, this does seem like a great option if you don't have a lot of space. It's a big monitor, so I'd expect you to have some space, but if you are very space constrained, the built-in bar will definitely save you space not having to have speakers on your desk. One redeeming feature, however, is that this awesome touch-based volume control also controls the volume of the headphone out. So you can control the volume in the coolest way ever with whatever speaker setup you like. The RGB bar can be customized with loads of colors and animations and brightness in the screen's menus itself, so you can customize it to your heart's content. Continuing around the monitor, the screen itself does rise and lower with some tilt back and forth. No side to side or spinning it into a portrait mode. Not that you'd really want to spin it into portrait mode for a massive ultra-wide curved gaming monitor anyway. But the stand is made of some really nice metals and plastics in this really nice matte grey black finish and feels super strong and sturdy. No complaints there. For I/O, it has one DisplayPort 1.4 port. That'll be, for a gaming PC, that'll be your main port to get that full 3K 165Hz signal through. Two HDMI 2.0 ports for plugging in your games consoles or your set-top box, and a USB-C port for both 10-watt power and display input. For those with a laptop that love to plug in only one cable to get docked and ready to work. The USB-C cable, when paired with one of the HDMI or DisplayPort ports, however, also adds one extra feature. It has some built-in microphones in the top of the display. They sound fine, great for your Zoom meetings and your work calls, but I wouldn't really use them for any professional recording, but they sound fine, they work great. Overall, I think this monitor is great for gaming. And for professional workflows, I think it ticks enough boxes to be a great middle ground of price to performance. This monitor comes in at around £450 at retail, by the way, which is an amazing price even compared to similarly spec'd gaming monitors. But that still is a fraction of even the cheapest professional grade monitors. And if you like those professional grade monitors, like the ones from BenQ we've reviewed in the past, they don't come with any of these awesome features like high refresh rate, FreeSync, and built-in microphones and sound bars. The pixel response time could impact your work, especially in video, a little bit, as if you're trying to fix little errors in any footage, the added smearing on blur could interrupt you a little bit there. The viewing angles could be a little bit of a hindrance if you are doing very color critical work. But if you're in the market for a gaming monitor already and needed something a little bit more accurate to work on as well, I think it's great. Me, personally, see this as a great addition to my desk, especially as I quite frequently work in virtual production, which involves work both in Unreal Engine and the Adobe Suite. So the gaming features, like the high refresh rate, are amazing when I'm working on Unreal, and then the added bonus of the color accuracy is great when I'm cutting the footage together in Premiere Pro. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the MateView GT from Huawei. Let me know your thoughts on Huawei entering the gaming market in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.